But yeah,
Then what happened? It just like froze.
oh, there. Okay,
Oh,
it cut out for a second for some reason.
yeah, it
Um,
did.
both of us like it like had us buffering. But yeah, I want to cut up some more clips of last week just to just to because I feel like it's definitely some clip worthy parts in there. But all right, I'm gonna get it started then. About to get some Middle Eastern food a little later on, which is I'm gonna say that, but I'm talking about Middle Eastern food in a little bit.
Middle
Um,
Eastern food can be good. I don't eat it
yeah,
often, but it's straight.
all right, I'm gonna get it started. Uh, you hear that? Okay, it was like a little hissing sound. Um, all right, so here we go. I go before I get started. I kind of want to like, I thought about this the other day. I was like, I kind of want to like change up how I start off. Like maybe change up
Yeah,
how time to time. Because I always say like, what's going on? That's the first thing I always say.
yeah. I'm
Um,
gonna say, hey, play with that thing. Shit, that's the only
so I
way.
think
You know what I'm saying? Shit.
I'm gonna keep it fresh. I'm gonna keep it everything. Try to keep everything fresh and new and kind of nothing is like stagnant. But
Mm-hmm.
all right, here I go. What's going on? Thanks for tuning into the Stimulus Podcast. We
Hey,
appreciate it.
how are you?
How are you? How's your mom now? And how's everybody doing? The family? We appreciate you guys tuning in. My name is Duran Shields. I'm practicing a new way to intro the show, but my name is Duran Shields, aka Blue Skittles, aka Melody, aka the Commissioner. I forgot about that one. That's what they was
Oh, the
calling me.
commissioner.
Yeah. So I'm gonna just build my AKAs up, I guess,
Okay.
when I get them. So I got like 4 now, I think. But I'm co-host of the Stimulus Podcast. Thank you for tuning in. I'm
Hey.
trying to remember to look at the camera too. I'll be looking like off into wherever. Got to be thinking about what I'm saying. But thank you for tuning in. Like I said, I'm Duran Shields, co-host of the Stimulus Podcast. I'm gonna let my co-host go ahead and introduce himself.
Hey, what's good, world? It's your boy Vision. VYSON like sight. Not spelled like sight though, but Vision the Great.
Right, right. Um, and you are tuned into the Stimulus Podcast. Thank you for our
Yes, you are.
subscribers that are like repeat, watchers and listeners. Welcome back and welcome if this is the first time you watching it. We basically talk about, it's called Stimulus Podcast. We talk about everything that is like basically stimulating our society, which is kind of a vague statement. So it kind of covers everything. So current events, we talk about movies, talk about just random unpopular opinion stuff. We did retro tech. We talk about everything. So and it's usually pretty we go serious, we go light to serious to back to light and leave you with a good note. So I hope you enjoyed the episode and thank you for tuning in if it's your first time and even if it's not. So but
Yes,
we're gonna get
yes.
it started off. We got this thing where we do with icebreaker. So today our icebreaker is going to be once again, I think this is our one of our go-to icebreakers, but it's going to be would you rather. Most people know the would you rather game. But would you rather is just basically like you get either or, two choices, two options, and you just got to pick one. And I found one ahead of time, and then I'm gonna just kind of find another one once we maybe like do two of them or so. But so the would you rather question for today, episode 7, is, or one of them is, would you rather have one real get out of jail free card or a key that opens any door? I'm gonna say that again. Would you rather have one real get out of jail free card
Mm-hmm.
or a key that opens any door?
Okay. Hmm. That
And
is
it's
a
only
good one
one.
though.
There's only one card.
Okay, so it's only one card,
Mm-hmm.
but I can use that key as many times as I need to.
Yeah, I mean, it's not really stated, so I'm gonna leave that just like up to the yeah,
You know,
you would have it
you know
for
what? I just thought about this, and I know I got my answer now. I'm gonna use the key to open any door because that is my get out of jail free card. In a sense, like if I'm in jail, like
yeah, yeah. I thought about that too. So like, but I was thinking, but the thing about that is like if you do open the door and get out of jail, now you're a fugitive. So you can just get locked up, but you'll get right back out again. But
That's true. Yeah.
you just had to keep that key a secret because if you lose it, then it's like, oh, I'm really locked up now.
Yeah.
I can't do it again. But the one get out of jail free card, because then you would get out of jail and you would be just like, a good standing citizen. Because I this is a real get out of jail free card. It would be like, in that hypothetical sense, it would be like legal and legally binding. So you would be legit like out of jail, not
Right.
being hunted by the police after that. So, or it shouldn't be, but so it could be like, man, this is one person. I just wanted to get. I don't mind catching an assault case for this one person, and and then
Hmm.
you do that, go to jail, use that car, you right back out the next day, and they thought you was going down for it.
Damn. I mean, like both of them are useful. Like, because I'm just thinking, like, in a sense of like, okay, I mean, if the key can open any door, if the door is a vault door, then like, can it open that? And like, no alarms or no shit like that. Like,
I would say, yeah. I mean, it would be any door. So like a vault door wouldn't be excluded, but I think that like it wouldn't necessarily keep you. It wouldn't keep you incognito about it. It would just open the door.
right.
So alarms will go off and all that, and then you
Hmm.
probably go to jail, but you can get out of there if you want to. You
Right.
just had to keep that key on you somehow all the time. Um,
I have to
but
fuse that boy with my body somehow.
so it's like basically like I think that if you have the key, you more of like a fugitive. You have more chances of being like a fugitive or like the opportunity to like get out of jail unlawfully, whereas you get one chance to get out of jail like lawfully with the
Right.
card or get out of jail free card.
Yeah.
So
Give me that key.
it's like it just depends on what lifestyle you willing to live after
Yeah.
you do it.
After that initial thing.
Yeah, like you can get out and be like, my one and done. That's all I need. I need to get that out of my system, and I'm done. Or you can be like, hey, I'm good, like forever. Like I can just get into whatever.
Yeah, I'm think I'm gonna stay with the key. I thought about it for a minute, but then I'm like, yeah, just give me the key. I'll be a fugitive, whatever.
I'm gonna get us one more. Let me see.
What was your choice?
Oh, I
You
didn't
ain't
say
pick.
one. Yeah,
Oh, you ain't pick.
I probably would pick the key too. It's just like it's a more like lasting opportunity. Like like
Okay.
you would never get locked out of your car. You would never,
Yeah, that's
yeah, like so. Like doors is a lot of doors are very very like common. Like
man. What?
um,
They
so
everywhere.
every building has some door. Every place where there's anything valuable has a door, and multiple or whatever. Like I said, it wouldn't disarm alarms, but
Right.
you would be able to get into whatever door. It just wouldn't be locked for you because you got that key. So I think that makes more sense. I like because I to for a get out of jail free card. I don't plan on going to jail to begin with, like
Right.
to
Yeah.
even have to use it. Like, so until you go to jail, it's not even valuable.
Right.
Um, so I would say the key too. Um,
Then I'll probably lose that damn car because, like you said, I don't plan on going to jail. So I'll probably just have it somewhere and then just end up losing that bitch and then needing it when I can't find it. Like,
yeah. Um, oh, this is a good one. This is another one that's gonna be kind of like stimulating of the brain. Number 17. That last one was number 7.
okay,
Um, so number 17 says, would you rather go back to age 5 with everything you know now, or know now everything your future self will learn? So like you would either like go back and retain what you know now, or all of a sudden in like an instant, I got all the future knowledge that I will ever get.
give me the future knowledge off rip. Like,
Yeah.
like I mean, because I think from where I was from 5 till now, like I've gained valuable experience. What I'm saying? So I don't think I need to necessarily go back and like relive the past. But
Yeah.
if I could have the future knowledge and so I can already know like, how to maneuver like from this point forward,
Hmm.
shit, my future would be bright as hell.
The
Bright
crazy
as
thing
these
is,
lights.
he said bright as them lights.
Yeah.
That actually look hard though with the glasses. Like you can like the
Yeah,
fact you
dude,
can see
I
it
must say it do kind of look like a little
like a
tight.
music video.
Yeah.
But the crazy thing is, like either way, you would be like you would know the future. Like because like if you go back and give your 5-year-old self all the knowledge that you have in 2020,
That's true.
um, your 5-year-old self would be a little like 5-year-old psychic because you would just know everything, like what's gonna happen. Um, and if you go and you know obviously if you get the future knowledge, then
Hmm.
you know everything in the future starting now. So it's like, when do you want to start knowing everything?
Now, because
Yeah.
2020 already like so fucked up, it would just make me feel like, okay, well, what's next? Like, what's coming after this? Like,
Dang, you know what would be crazy is if, okay, so like say we are really like this is like the Matrix or something. This red pill, blue pill, and those were the two things. So the red pill was to go back to age 5 with all the knowledge you know now, and the blue pill was all of a sudden you just you know you acquire all knowledge from the future. And you picked the blue pill and said I want the future knowledge, and then you realize like I know like a couple more things, but I don't know that many. Oh, what if my life ain't that much longer? That would be
dang,
crazy. That would be so frightening.
dang, that would be very frightening.
Because it's like, dang, I know a couple things that I didn't know before, but like that's not enough to be like my whole future. Or is it? Like,
Right?
you know,
Yeah,
that would be crazy. That's something that's a movie plot. I need to edit
that
that part
is.
out of this and put that into a movie plot.
That is. That's crazy. Like, that's a crazy thought to think that, like, you ask for that, and then when you get it, it's like,
It's not
well,
what you thought.
dang, I don't
Yeah.
really know.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
That's all, because like it's all the knowledge that you would have obtained over the rest of your life going
Yeah,
forward. But like if the rest of your life is like a year, you gonna know more stuff. But it's like I should be like this all knowing like being. If I if I live to be, I'm 29, I live to be, on average, say I live to be like 85. Um, I should know a lot of stuff, but I only know like a few more extra things, and it's like, oh, that would be crazy. That would be a crazy revelation.
that would be, man. That's wild.
So yeah, I would pick what. So yeah, I think I would pick the future because like I don't want to redo. I feel like if you go back and tell your past self what the future is gonna bring, you're naturally gonna redo. Like you're gonna be like you're not gonna live the same life you lived from 5 to your current age. You're gonna
Right.
like change up everything. You're gonna figure out invest in businesses that that gonna be crazy in the future. You're gonna you might mess a lot of stuff up though. That butterfly effect is crazy because if you go back saying like, yeah, eventually it's gonna be this thing called Netflix, and then it's gonna be Amazon. You get stuff since it's gonna like change up the order in which people found stuff out and invented things. So
Yeah.
like things will be like way different in once you get back to 2020 again. So yeah, that's a crazy like that's like
That
a
yeah, I'm about to say, yeah, that is too. Either way you look at it, like, bending time and warping it is like, it always brings about like them type of questions or them type of thoughts, like, like, damn, like, because you could fuck up everything. Like, if you go back and invest in Netflix or like Amazon, like, it could be something totally different. Like, you know what I'm
yeah.
saying? Like you can invest in Facebook and then MySpace end up blowing up like Facebook did.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Like
saying?
I was 5 years old in 1995. I turned 5 in 1995. So like going back to 1995 and being like, okay, what we got now? We got VCRs, we got all that stuff from the retro tech segment. If you haven't checked out the retro tech segment, go ahead and check that out on our channel. I'll probably link it in the end of this video. But anyway, I'm in 1995 and I'm looking around and I'm like, dang, I know everything that I knew from 2020, and now everything it's like going like back. I might as well be looking at dinosaurs. Um,
Right.
but and then I'm like talking to people. Dang, I guess what I go back to. I'm assuming I would go back to being 5 years old. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't be going back as my current age. So
Yeah, you'll be going back and just be five, but you'll be like a hella aware 5 year old.
yeah,
Like,
you have like a vocabulary of a 29-year-old. Like
yeah.
like you used to be talking like all of a sudden just talking real good, like real articulate, just for no reason.
So no.
Um,
Hello, mother.
yeah, that's Stewie. But yeah, like if I think you would inevitably go back just out of the shock of the moment, like go back and be like, "Mom, like I was 29 years old." Like
Yeah.
um and be like, yeah, like I mean, you was this and that, and then you be talking to like the old version of your mama, like or like your parents or whoever. Like everybody is like the however many years ago that is for you, that aged, you know. Like when I was 5, my mom was probably, you know, whatever. I don't know what age she was, but like I would be talking to her at that age of her, not like the one I knew from 2020. Which that would be crazy too.
It would.
Time travel is like a deep, very deep topic. Like,
It is. And even then, still now, like I'm thinking about like reconsidering my answer because just thinking like, okay, man, if I know now what I know, it's not just like just trivial things that I would know and remember. It would be like, real significant things like people
yeah,
passing and like, okay, I know that this person is gonna pass around this time and
yeah,
this.
yeah,
So it's like, okay, well then now I know that I need to spend as much time before this stamp. Like so that is a difficult thought. I think that's probably like the most thought provoking one that
yeah,
I've had to answer.
yeah, yeah. Because you would go back and like people that are gone now ain't going yet. Like
Yeah, yeah, and they'd be like, okay, but dang, uh,
you,
they
they would
could,
be like, why is he like crying on me and stuff? Like
yeah,
I'm
so
right.
clingy, yeah, like
Yeah.
yeah, it would,
Um, and you 5 years old too. Like that's crazy.
yeah, that would be some crazy stuff, man.
All right, so that is our would you rather. Nobody's done it yet, but I'm gonna keep on saying comment, you know, what your answer would be. Would you what was the first one? Would you
Hey, y'all Negroes better quit playing and interact with us.
right.
Let us know what we supposed to do. Like communicate.
Yeah. Um we do appreciate those that have been, you know,
We do
watching the
though,
videos and all
for
that
sure.
stuff. But it actually helps us be better when we you know are getting input from y'all. So
Hmm.
um
Don't get it twisted. We appreciate y'all too that just watching. Don't say nothing too. What I'm saying we appreciate the fact that y'all just watching and tuning
right.
in.
Right.
But
It all is going kind of toward the same goal or the same like vision, so to
yeah.
speak, pun intended. But yeah, that's our would you rather. So comment what your answer would be. Would you get the get out of jail free card, or would you do the key that opens any door? And then also would you go back knowing everything you know now to the age of 5, or would you uh just opt for obtaining all knowledge from your future in an instant, and all, you know, all of a sudden just knowing everything in the future. So comment your answer or whatever, and that is our would you rather segment. So
Wow.
from here we are about to move on. We always start with icebreaker, but then we get into the serious stuff. So 2020, of course, every week I think a 2020 week is like equivalent to like a 2019 month. Like
It is.
like so much stuff happened in 1 week in 2020.
It's ridiculous, man. It's
It
like
it really is too much to talk about. Like I mean, our episodes will have to be like at least 4 hours long just to like talk about everything that happens in 1 week.
right.
um but a lot of the things that have been happening in 2020 lately, at least, have had to do with police. And there's like police brutality and abuse of power and all, you know, yada yada, et cetera, et cetera. So, police that structure and that organization has been under a microscope lately. So we want to talk about the history of police, the history of
The
Popo,
popo.
history of
Five
Popo.
o. 12.
um Talk about, you know, where they got, you know, how it started and all, and like in kind of how we got to where we are now in some
Yeah.
of our systems that we were talking about kind of before the episode started, some of our outdated systems and in organizations that kind of they were started hundreds of years ago and they may or may not make the most sense nowadays.
Right.
um so I'm just going to toss it to you to get that kicked off.
All right. Yeah. So, like you were saying, the police are under a microscope, and everybody is doing, you know, in-depth research on, different things, whether it be a department or whether it be just the overall history. So,
Right.
I know we had our conversation about it, and that really made me want to like look into it. When we were talking about it, like
Mm-hmm.
it already interests me in it. You know what I'm saying? As far as my experience with the police, but uh, it started. The police were actual. What did I say? The first funded or publicly funded organized police force was in
Mm-hmm.
Boston in
Yeah.
1838. And that was for what to protect merchandise from
Yeah.
the seaport and stuff like that.
Yeah. I think it was like he's like a shipping docks and stuff like that, and people will
Hmm.
be shipping and receiving goods, and they needed to protect that basically like um from people just trying to steal it or whatever. So they employed these like private this like private, almost like a private militia, or like these
Yeah,
people that and they would not like anything like, you know, they have them now. So like they was just like kind of like regular people, ragtag type people to watch over the shipping and receiving stuff.
which I mean that's harmless enough. Like I understand that. Like I understand forming a group to protect something that's your goods. Like that's a common interest of all. Like I understand that, but um the fact that like if you go even further into history, and I know we were talking about this off camera,
Yeah.
the like in during slavery times, and I think this group was established in 1704 or '03. I'm not sure, but they
Hmm.
were called the slaves called them paddy rollers, and
Yeah.
I couldn't really find any other name besides slave patrol, but that's what the slaves referred to them as.
Hmm.
And they were like basically the police of the South, and they were involved in like disciplining runaway slaves. Hey, there you go, yep. And
Yeah. I know
like,
this place.
and it's crazy, like, and then even the fact that like their logo was, you know what I'm saying, basically the star, the star and shield for, well, it wasn't the shield, but it was the star, like the deputy star, even like in the Wild Wild West, like that's what it reminded me of.
Yeah.
And then even the star that you see on some police logos. So it's like it's crazy. Like, and I was still trying to find like the connection in between. Like, okay, well, why did they choose this logo? You know what I'm saying, to represent that?
Yeah. Um yeah, I was that's actually in the artwork that's going to be on the episode 7. I got one of the police stars just to like, I know that I know some like like some kind of word of mouth stuff I've heard about like the origins of the police.
Yeah,
And I knew that it kind of was like, you know, slave patrol. It was making sure slaves didn't get away, making sure, you know, that because they were property. So um it was all, I think police always kind of started they started as basically property protection.
yeah,
You know, keeping almost like insurance, like making sure that none of my sheep get away basically. um so yeah, and that
that,
star was like one of the early like symbols.
which is crazy. It's like, I mean, if something was like formed on like something that's like kind of malicious as that, like the intent of keeping black people oppressed. And I mean, even though they may say that it's not that way now, but it still don't seem like it's really gotten any better. It just seems like they're getting better at like disguising themselves, like what I'm saying,
Yeah.
it's not, they're not as blatant with it, but it definitely seems like we're still under attack. It doesn't seem like the tensions have really settled any.
Yeah.
uh,
um Yeah, I mean, and then look at for our YouTube watchers, you can see some of the images that we got playing right now. Um, and it's almost just as white as it was back then. Like it's all white, of course, in the
yeah,
black and white stuff, black and white footage. But in some of the color photos of today, like it's a majority of white people, which of course they do make up the majority in America. I think it's like 60% or something like that. But
yeah, something crazy.
and I guess that's reflected in the makeup of the police forces. But I feel like I mean, maybe it shouldn't. Maybe it should be like, and this is kind of getting off topic, but maybe there should be officers that look like the civilians in each respective place. So like if it's black people in this area, have a majority of black officers, and if it's Hispanic people in this area, have a majority of, if you can, of Hispanic officers. That way it's like there is like some kind of like understanding, I guess, of each other, what did it say? Wanted 100 Negro drivers to be employed in the island of Barbados. Like,
Ne- Negro drivers. And then they had that damn song that run nigger run. It was like a they even they sung it a little bit in 12 Years a Slave. I never had seen that
oh
movie.
yeah,
Yeah,
I've seen it.
until
Yeah, I don't.
I
I can't remember. I seen it. I seen that movie though.
yeah, but they did a little bit of that. But it's just crazy, like to think about that history, and then just like the history of Black people with law enforcement.
Yeah,
Like it don't seem like okay. It almost makes sense, for me to believe like, okay, well, the police really were the patty rollers, and then they just, kind of got a little more organized as the states got more organized. Because it's crazy to even think that like the United States were divided at one point in time. It was North
yeah,
against South. It's like, okay, what the fuck? We couldn't even get. It's like you expect me, like lawmakers and politicians now expect civilians to go along with this stuff that was outdated or like centuries or whatnot
hmm
ago, formed centuries ago, and then they couldn't even get it together. Then they were in turmoil. Then it's like, okay, now I feel like we just need to figure out what works for us now. I'm not saying like you can just get rid of everything at once. It's a process. You have to work, towards making things better. But there have to be certain changes that have to take place, like in an instant, like right now.
yeah,
Like implementing, integration as far as like the neighborhoods, like you said. I think that's something that should happen now.
yeah. You see that say, oh my child, my child." Like
What?
that's just the, and that's what I guess the black person, the black slave right there is saying.
Oh
But it's
my
just like,
child, my child.
um, it's super dark. Like this, the history of America.
It is, man.
It's so like barbaric and like just
Just
gruesome.
yeah, I'm about to say gruesome. You took the words right out of my mouth. That shit, it's
Um,
crazy.
it's easy to forget because we so consumed, like us being like a first world country, we consume with entertainment and we're consumed with this materialism and capitalism and all that stuff. We forget that, like, so capitalism is just basically like, if there's opportunity, you capitalize on that opportunity. If there's money to be made, you make that money. And let me stop this video. Well, actually, I can run it back. Let me
Man,
see.
and for the longest, like, just because of like the perception of or what I was, taught, like communism is bad. Like, it's
Mhm.
frowned upon. When I looked up the definition of communism, I'm like, that don't really sound bad. It sounds like it's fair. It sounds like,
Yeah,
everybody getting, what they need and nobody is going without. Like, and to me, that just seemed like the way everybody should live. I don't feel like nobody should go without. I feel like that you should have to work for the things that you get, because that just makes sense. It's like you can't be lazy and then require a lot. Like you have to earn everything that you have, but
yeah,
it don't mean that you have to kill yourself to just have a little bit. Like that don't make sense to me. It's like
yeah. Um, yeah, I think like communism and socialism, they get a bad rap in
they do,
America
yeah.
because I mean, but we're biased because our setup is capitalism. Our setup is kind of like survival of the fittest. You get it how you live, like
Yeah.
type of thing. And socialism is more for everybody. We kind of spread out our resources amongst everybody, so there's not as much of a class gap between upper the 1% and then the average, kind of middle class, and then like the low class, or like kind of like the poor class, or whatever you want to call the bottom tier. It's not as much of a gap because everybody is getting spread out evenly. Capitalism is like first place, second place, third place. Like,
Yep.
so you either did what you needed to do to get it or you didn't. But the thing is, in a racist place, it's like you got an unfair advantage. Like you y'all beat us down for years. Y'all
Right,
stole us from our real home, brought us over here, made us build your country for free, put y'all
right,
hundreds of years ahead of us as far as progress go.
right. And
And
profit. Yeah.
yeah, so like y'all had all this time, like, and that's what, going back to like the whole system, our broken systems. Like they, I've been hearing people say this, and I agree that like America's not broken. This is what it was designed to be like. It was
Yeah, hell yeah. Hell
it,
yeah.
the system is working perfectly as it was designed,
Right.
and that's the problem. It was designed so many years ago that it was designed for the white man to get rich. It was designed. Police started that slave patrol to keep these black people in line
Mm-hmm.
and keep them from getting like the mind to revolt. It was started as that, and it's not been updated enough to even be distinguishable from what it used to be. Especially nowadays. Now you think about police have, like I said, police, if they had a approval rating number somewhere for police right now,
Oh,
it
that
would be
shit would be poor.
right. Like kid, I saw a video just the other day. My girlfriend sent me a video of this little girl. Like couldn't be no more older than like 6 or 7, and she saw a police officer, and it wouldn't even know like no situation. She just saw the police officer and got scared, like because she knew like what police are associated with.
Right.
And she probably seen some of the videos on TikTok or something, or kids end up seeing stuff like that anyway. So she didn't probably seen some of that stuff. So now when she see a police officer, she like traumatized from what she saw. So she think every police officer is like the people that kill you, people that kill black people.
Right.
Um, and
That's
that was,
sad, man.
and for a long time that was the situation. Like police, they would kill people whether they had evidence of them doing the crime or not. It just on somebody else's word. Emmett Till,
Mm-hmm.
and then it turned out he didn't actually even whistle at her. And they, completely de just like made his body unrecognizable, made his face unrecognizable, and then his mother had the wherewithal to like say, "I'm gonna still have an open casket so they can see."
So right, yeah. Man, that's crazy. That's that's
Uh,
that's that's hurtful. Like that's and to think like I mean that really was not that long ago, bro. That was in Jet magazine. That she had posted that I want to say I believe was it Jet
that
or
who?
did Jet repost it? That Emmett Till's mother.
Oh, like
Cause
the
she
fact that
I
she
know
did
she
that,
yeah I know she put it. I know it was in a
like a
hold on
newspaper or something.
yeah I don't
Yeah,
want to be wrong.
I do remember seeing like some kind of image or whatever. I'm assuming that was put into some kind of, because back then it wasn't no social media, so it had to be in some kind of newspaper or
Yeah.
like some kind of publication. Um, but just the fact that she even knew, like she was like, of course, grieving, but even in the time of her, the time of her grief, she was like, you know what, this is gonna send a message to like the world that stuff like this happens. And even if he had a whistle that the woman, I guess back then they legally could say that it was a crime. Like basically it was a crime. Like he ain't got no business whistling at a white woman.
Which is
Uh,
crazy. Like, nigga, it's a whistle. Like, I mean, what? Like, we are all human. Like,
and that's some
and
white stuff anyway. Ain't no black people whistling at people like that. Like
right. Like,
for
what?
some women, like that's Looney Tunes. Like um,
Yeah, man.
so but it turned yeah, it, like I said, turned out that it wasn't true. So like it make it even worse. And then the lady that accused them admitted that on her deathbed. She
She
admitted that
did.
she admitted that she lied about that on her deathbed.
That's crazy. What?
That's
Like,
remember we was talking about the slap, the
oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
okay, okay, hold on.
yeah, yeah.
This is gonna be a clip. This is gonna be a clip. Hold on. I gotta talk about what did I call it? The slap executioner or something like that, or like
Yeah, slap execution. Yeah,
slap. How do you executioner slap? I'm saying slap executioner. So
slap executioner.
is it Euchinor like OR at the end or ER at the end of executioner?
I think it's OR
Or execution
executioner.
executioner. But okay, so for our listeners and watchers and everything, while we try to get this set up, a while it was like a random conversation about I'm gonna just put it up like this. Slapcutioner. I'll You'll understand what I'm saying if once you hear me say this. So, a while ago we had a random conversation about people like old, especially like people like that. Like she admitted that she lied on Emmett Till on her deathbed. So it was kind of like, oh, I waited till nothing really could be done to me because I'm on my way out of life anyway. So I'm gonna admit this one thing that I've been holding my whole life, and she admits that she lied about Emmett Till, the whole thing. He got killed, but it started with a lie, basically. Stuff like that happens all the time. We saw the thing Amy Cooper in Central Park in New York trying to act like she was getting attacked with a dog and all that stuff. So Emmett Till, the woman, I don't know her name, but it doesn't really matter. She admitted on her deathbed, and I was like, man, it should be like some kind of like sentence where like if you are on your deathbed and you like something like that, you admit something that's egregious, like super like just like inhumane act that you did, and you intentionally wait until you I don't know 93 years old about to just pass away from natural causes. We bring in somebody called the slapcutioner. This man has been ranked. Probably has some appearances on those like slap things, those little like
tournaments.
Yeah, he probably we find the best of the best. We find somebody, we find the best slapper basically that this nation in this world has to offer. We bring them in, fly them in. They come in with like a silver briefcase, open it up, and it's just one glove. It's just it's just one glove inside of a briefcase. And let me stop this video. It's one glove inside of a briefcase that they bring.
It's leather.
Because it's just so that they know, that it's business. It's not you're not here to play around. You come in with the briefcase opened up, it's a glove. He's a slapcutioner. So basically, she's admitted this egregious act of lying on Emmett Till, getting him killed. So basically, committing murder indirectly. So her punishment for that is. Did you hear that?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what that was. Her punishment then is, slap a one good slap into the afterlife, into whatever comes after this. For her.
Slap to death.
So, he come in, he like they gotta. I imagine the moments before, like they gotta hit the little hospital bed, like lift her up to the right, lift her up to the right angle, like we just waiting. We just waiting. She just like getting lifted up, getting that right angle. He like he's gonna like he getting his distance. He's like, okay, right here, okay.
It'd be funny if he had the remote in his hand and he was adjusting it.
That's how I imagine it. That's how I imagine it.
Okay.
He's getting there propped up because he know how he need to be or whatever. And then there's one good time, there's one good time he got like he keeping it tight so that good torque can get in there, and this is it for her, and she know this, you know what I'm saying, but that's what you get. So slapcutioner, slapcutioner, nice tight in the shoulder, just get her one real good time, and she out of here. Not dying from death from natural causes. We taking you out of here with a good slap. So that was just a random conversation that we had about that. But people like that, I feel like they deserve that. You on your way out, but we gonna send you on. It's gonna expedite that a little bit.
Right.
We gonna speed that up a little bit. But so we were talking about. I don't know if we can stay on the topic of police and all that stuff, history of the popo.
I just looked that up though, and it was in the issue of Jet. It was in 1964. I'm not sure when that happened. If that was in fact in 19 like around that time.
That's the year of the civil rights movement. The signed 1964. Yeah. So yeah, I mean,
and that's not that long ago. That's the year my mother was born.
Yeah, my mom was born in 61, so she was like a few years old when when she was born. It was like straight up like racism, like straight up like
it was right. It was
y'all ain't got no rights, nigga. Like
that was when we used to ER.
All right, nigger. We was nigger. But so yeah, not long ago at all. '64, and then even since then, it's like it got better, but it's like still pretty bad, like in a lot of ways.
Yeah. That's
Um,
crazy to think though that was not really that long ago. That was like 50 years ago, 50
yeah,
plus. Like that our country was like that. Like we was hated like that,
yeah,
and so it's not to me. It's not impossible for me to believe that the police wouldn't change their mentality. Because like you think about it, you have people who grow up with certain habits and they're stubborn about them and
hmm
they don't change. You know what I'm saying? And okay, 50 years ago, shoot, that's enough time. You know what I'm saying? That ain't
yeah.
that long ago. We still could be suffering from that person.
Just
And
like
that,
just think of one person that's like at least 55, 60 years old, somewhere in there, and they were born at least like before the civil rights, era, civil rights movement with Martin Luther King and all that stuff.
mm-hmm.
Um, well, like way, and then women's suffrage came even way after that, or like I think women's suffrage. I can't remember like the general like women's suffrage versus like when black women, but um, so there's so many layers to it too, like all the rights that we
Yeah,
didn't have, that everybody else had. So like that's speaking again to like the whole like unfair like head start they had as white people. You stole black stole like literally like like I think it was like 500,000 slaves to build the country. So you stole a whole like a whole people and
yeah,
brought them over somewhere else, a strange land, had them like building stuff and working your fields and running your economy direct basically directly. How about say indirectly? But we are the foundation of your economy.
right,
Then we don't get rights, we're not free. And then once we are free, you got like the hunting people down. It's like using any reason to kill a black person, sticking dogs on them,
mm-hmm.
firing the water hoses down at them. Like, and it's looking, as far as the police is looking eerily similar, like now, like it's like this like weird like aggression. They pushing down old people. Like the old dude was
Yeah,
like white guy too. But it's just like why are we that aggressive to begin with? Like he not even he don't clearly don't have nothing to harm y'all with. But he just too close, so I push him over and now his head bleeding. They say he was bleeding
right.
out his ears too.
Oh man,
Um,
that's brain trauma. Ain't it like or like a symptom of that?
like
Like
some like brain
when you blink,
hemorrhaging.
yeah, when you
Yeah. So is so I was reading a little bit about like because like they've been talking about and this can kind of be somewhat of a different topic. So I'm a type of different banner, but they're talking about like now they're talking about defunding the police. So um
defunding them.
yeah,
I
like
feel I feel like the shit is gonna crack. I mean, it may or may not. Like depending on it's just depending on the police now. Like depending on their actions, and I feel like that if there are some good ones, if this shit do crack off, I feel like don't support them. Like you better you better remove yourself and remove all your association with them because it's gonna get to the point where it's gonna be us against them if they continue like that. I
you
mean,
talking about
it's
you talking about which group we talking about?
the police.
Oh,
I'm just
okay,
saying,
okay,
yeah, I'm just saying, like because I do believe that there are some good people that are police officers that have that job title, but
yeah.
I feel like the majority of them, I feel like, are not right, and I feel like, I mean, we see that the history and the foundation of them, was built on corruption, and especially against us. So
Yeah. Um, so like so people many places, but also like Minnesota, of course. I mean, yeah, Minneapolis, Minnesota specifically, um, are asking these different states to defund the police. And my take on that is like I don't think that getting rid of the police because like you defund them, then like is going to unravel. So it's kind of unraveling now. So imagine if we defund them. Um,
it's
def-
gonna go nuts.
yeah, defunding the police, I feel like it's basically getting rid of the police, and getting rid of the police is basically, I think it would turn us into the wild, wild west, all over again. Um, people would just be kind of somewhat fending for themselves. But I did some research about that though. So in turns out that in 2012, Camden, New Jersey,
Mm-hmm.
they somewhat defunded the police to some degree, and they're being like kind of heralded as like a success story of doing it. So they basically took some of the money that they would have been putting into like, the police and put it into like social programs, and I think they worked toward like basically making the police more of a part of the community. Less, they gave the police a few like less responsibilities. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and they also did it in LA at some point, like some to some degree. But so I might be mixing up some of the details, but basically the general idea is that they take some of the money that they will be given into raises and all that kind of stuff and put that towards social programs. That way that and also, like I said, getting rid of some of the responsibilities for the police. So like a lot of times they end up in altercations with homeless people because they kind of just like mentally unstable. The homeless people are mentally sometimes mentally unstable, so they take that responsibility away from the police and give that to like mental medical professionals, so that like the police not dealing with them because that's not like they basically one problem I think we have with our police is that they have too many responsibilities.
They
We
do.
tell we call them for fire, noise complaint, we call them for shots fired. We call them for any like almost anything is called 911, call the police.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so they have too many responsibilities, and if you got too much on your plate, you're not going to do everything to the best of your ability, or you only got so much energy to attribute to so many things. So
Right.
you might just, get lazy, go for the gun, just forget it. Like I'm not about to. I've been working all day
Right. I'm
doing noise
tired. I'm
complaints,
frustrated. Yeah.
yeah, cats in the tree. I got all that kind of stuff. And now you saying you getting an attitude with me. I don't feel like dealing with it. I'm gonna pull my gun. I'm gonna get this over with.
Mm-hmm.
So they're kind of like overworked in some way. Not to excuse some of the actions because that dude Chauvin, however you supposed to say his name, like that was complete, that was a completely calculated thing. Like you had
It
plenty of time to
was.
think about what you was doing. He knew he was recorded. And people was talking about that, like he knew he was recorded and he stayed there. That means that he couldn't have feared the consequences. And that's part of the problem right there is that like the most police don't even fear consequence. They just do whatever and say, I'm gonna get you, I'll bring you down on this anything. I'll make something up and I'll get you. And they almost bold enough to say that to you,
Yeah.
like knowing they got body cams on, no, like they just, they turn the body cams off anyway. So it's giving them way too much power over society, and we've seen way too much abuse of that power. I feel like
Too much.
for us not to go back and just at least rethink how we this whole system. I think like I said, I think the voting system, I think is outdated and
Me too.
antiquated. I think police are outdated and antiquated. I'm sure there's all kinds of different other systems that I'm not thinking about that
Right.
are just super old and don't really fit today's like structure society socially. So I think I think it warrants it for sure. I don't know about defunding the police, but I think it for sure warrants us going back and reevaluating. Like, how should we do this? Like, what is the best way? I would say look around the world. Like, I think look at examples around the world where like the police. I think in Britain they don't even have like guns like that. Like the police,
Mm-hmm.
they just have like the billy clubs and like non-lethal stuff.
Yeah,
And
but they've outlawed guns there though.
oh yeah,
So yeah, so they would have to outlaw them here. Like so, they can't have. Even though they have guns over there, but it's outlawed. So not really a lot of people have guns and whatnot. Like
yeah.
so I mean, it is. I mean, and that would work. Like I mean, but it here now trying to take people's guns, I doubt that would happen.
Yeah, yeah, and that's part of Americans like entitlement, like
Mm-hmm.
Second Amendment, right to bear arms, even though that wasn't even initially like meant for like just regular people to have guns.
Right.
Um, they not gonna let go of the guns. I know that. Because as soon
Not
as
at all.
anything, as soon as a school shooting would happen, like people would be like, "You ain't touching my guns," like
Yeah.
because as soon as a school shooting happened, they start talking about like banning assault rifles and all that kind of stuff. And it's the same cycle of conversation, and then they get to talking about like the NRA talking about whatever they talking about, and people that's like NRA supporters are like, "You're not taking my guns. I like to see you come here and try." Everybody posting their little pictures of them and then on their porch with their
Right.
gun. I'm like, man, that stuff is whack, man. Like, yeah, you got a gun. Like, like chances are, even if you have a AR-15, whatever, like any kind of assault rifle, chances are you won't like. What situation are you going to be in where you like, let me get the rifle and like
Right.
like what situation are you planning for
I
to have
guess
to use
niggas
that?
just I guess niggas feel like that we gonna have like some Red Dawn type shit, like where have you ever seen that movie?
I think I've heard of it. I don't think I've seen it though.
Yeah, it was like in the 80s. I think Patrick Swayze was in it. And it was just like basically like China or somebody or someone in Asia had invaded America, and they
Yeah,
basically took over, and we had to like fight. So I don't know if niggas are preparing for that type of shit, or they preparing for what it seems like is the inevitable. It's just like us fighting against the police or our oppressors.
yeah, and it's like, I mean, I guess I get that, but that's like you're basing a large part of your identity on a hypothetical situation,
Yeah,
and I
very
think that's something wrong
hypothetical.
with that. Um, Especially when it's like a lethal weapon that you're guarding. I hate how like gung ho people that have a gun get like I know I got a gun, so I'm extra like aggressive. Like I'm extra like, 'cause what you
Yeah,
gonna do? Like I hate that. Like it's so whack and like it's such a cowardly thing that like for you to change how you act because you know you got the ultimate like weapon
right.
in this situation is cowardly. I feel like
It is. I feel like a lot of people like who are quick to pick up a gun are cowardly.
yeah,
Cause yeah, you can protect yourself with a gun. I feel like it's almost come to that point now because of like how you said you have people who are overly aggressive. So the people that are mild mannered, they may have a disagreement. Everybody's human, but like
yeah,
if you get into an argument with one of those people, they quick to pull a gun and you ain't got one. You know what I'm saying? It makes you feel like you need one. I
right.
just feel like, man, it does change like in some people's mind like how courageous they are. Like a lot of people
Um,
are bitches without them.
so yeah, and I think I was reading an article that's saying like part of some of the problems with the police stem from them just like showing up. They know they got guns, so it makes everything super tense. And like they vest and all, so it's like it's a super tense situation because what this could turn out, how this can turn out. I was and then speaking of like this brutality as far as police, um, it came out like maybe 2016. I forgot the guy's name that died, but like it was in a hotel and it was like it kind of went viral for a little while, but it was a super like disturbing case of police brutality. And it
Mm-hmm.
was a white dude too. So like basically the story is that these people saw a guy in a hotel with some kind of a gun. Turns out that he was like a pest control like type of person, so he had a pellet gun for
Oh,
like
okay.
rodents and all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And that was part of his kit, and somebody saw it, so instead of like inquiring with him about it or whatever, they called the police. And they said like, so this guy's got a rifle or something like that. And the police come with that in mind, like, oh, he's armed. So they set up in a hallway, and is waited there. So you're watching the body cam video of the person that's got the gun, the police officer that's got the gun, and you're hearing his voice. You see them a woman come around the corner in the distance. She come around, and you see her like react to seeing the gun, and then he like, get on the ground, get on the ground. He come around the corner, get on the ground, put your hands up. And it, like the dude that's talking, the police officer that's talking is like, this is like the only time I've ever seen it to this level. But the police officer is basically like being very like Simon says, like, do exactly what I'm saying. And he's saying it just like I'm saying it right now. Like, do exactly what I'm saying. If you make a mistake, it might be fatal. You might get shot today. There's a good chance that you might die today. If you make a mistake, do not make a mistake. Do exactly as I say. Get on your knees, put your hands on the ground, palms down, cross your left leg over your right leg. And
That's too specific. Like,
he literally
what
he
if you
literally
cross
said,
your what if you cross your right leg over your left?
he literally did say like put your left leg over your right leg, like specifically like direct which leg. And he eventually told him like to like, I think he like sat up, like the dude was like almost like crying, like because he's just like so nervous about it, understandably, because he got a gun. Like it was two of them too, I think, at least two police officers. And he's like holding like a rifle, like not just like a pistol. um and he's telling them like, I will shoot you like if you make a mistake. he told him that before he goes into his commands. So the dude ended up back up on like on his knees, but like up, and he's saying like. And I was listening to it, like something he said didn't make sense. It was like something like, "Put your hands up. Do not put your hands down for any reason." And then he eventually said, "Crawl toward me" or something like that. Like, how you gonna crawl with your hands up? So he was just
Right.
like, so he's basically looking for a reason to shoot him.
Shoot
And
him, yeah.
like, unfortunately, he did end up like I think his shorts that the guy had on, like slipped down and kind of like naturally kind of like flinched, and the dude he shot him. He sprayed like at least
Oh, I think I did. I think I have seen that.
yeah, it was years ago.
Yeah, yeah, okay, yeah.
But it got brought up, and I end up like kind of looking into that a little again. I don't really watch the videos, like the complete videos of that. Like I had the video up, but I was like I had the phone over here and I was looking this way, so I was kind of like peripherally watching it, just because I didn't want to like watch it like directly. But it's just like, and then he was like, "You listen, you obey," like the dude that's talking, the police officer. So like it was just like this super like power trip, like I'm a kill me somebody today. Like didn't the dude didn't have a gun, like almost like they didn't actually like come close enough to find out if he had a gun or not, honestly. But he was acting as if he had one because of that report, I guess, that person that called them. But like I'm pretty sure he didn't have nothing on him. Like it didn't look like he had anything, like any kind of bag or nothing like that.
And it probably was a Karen that called him too.
Probably Karen. That's funny that like it's crazy that that's become a legit thing, and it's like I guess we just finally put a word on it, like a single word on
Yeah.
the can I see the manager, type of people.
Uh-huh. Cause
Um,
that go too for them bitches. I'm just gonna call her that. I mean, I don't really
yeah,
disrespect like the dead, but like I mean that was a bitch move that she did. People like the lady who accused
Emmett
Emmett
Till.
Till, yeah, she a Karen to me. Like just anybody who is like gonna go against like somebody's life, and especially that you're going like against like there's a
Yeah,
potential risk of somebody losing their life for what you're saying, like and you just okay with it.
yeah. That and same thing with the Amy Cooper, the one that just happened this year, in New York. Amy Cooper. She called the police and she was like, before she called, she was like, I'm gonna call him and tell him a black man is trying to attack me. But the dude is
Oh shoot.
like, you know, 20 feet away. So
Hell
like
no.
he like clearly not trying to attack. And like the dude is recording the video. She on the phone. I don't know if she knew that he was recording, because if she did, I'm assuming she didn't, because she was like saying that out loud. Like, I'm gonna call him and tell him a African American is trying to harass me. But like all he had said was like, you're supposed to keep, like, in this area of the park, you're supposed to keep your dog on a leash. Um, that's all he actually said. Like that's what started the whole confrontation or whatever. So and then she like tried to use her white privilege and her just like white privilege
Her
to lever
Karenism.
yeah yeah, right, her Karen privilege to
Yeah.
use it, leverage it against the black dude. Just like, I'm gonna tell them that it's black, so they really be coming with some aggression and stuff like that.
Right. Yeah. She probably think they was gonna come faster.
Right. So it's still happening. So like I said, like it's crazy how similar things have been for black people since the beginning of us being in this country.
Right.
Also I've been seeing a lot of people talk about let me see something. I'm a type of banner for this one. But talking about like, the 4th of July, and how like, even that's like the American Independence Day, but black people wasn't free. Like we was like we didn't get our the last slave wasn't freed until June 19th. I can't remember the year, but that's where Juneteenth comes from. Um so I've been seeing a lot of people talk about how they're not gonna celebrate the 4th of July this year. They're gonna celebrate Juneteenth.
Niggas
Uh
better stop for real. Like, I mean, I hate like when people get fake woke, or like when people be like, I wanna, I'm so like, it's almost like being for us, or being politically for us. Black pride and all that is like a trend. You
yeah.
know what I'm saying? It's just something that people can jump on, but it's like in order for us to really rise above our history in this country and really make a new future for ourselves, I feel like we have to really be on board and mean what we saying. Like we can't just be
Yeah.
like, yeah, we gonna not do it and then still go out and buy fireworks and shit. No, light your fireworks on Juneteenth. You know what I'm saying? Like if you go
Yeah.
and buy fireworks, whatever, but like be
They've been setting them
prideful.
off anyway.
Yeah. But I don't think that black people should celebrate the 4th of July. I don't think that black people should celebrate
Thanksgiving.
motherfucking Thanksgiving, yeah, yep. Or even Christmas for that matter. Not in the manner that they celebrated in at least.
Yeah. Yeah. So like Juneteenth, like I said, that's the day that the last like enslaved slave was freed. Um and I mean I'm definitely with that. Like I didn't even really learn about I think I had heard the word Juneteenth, but I only learned what that meant like in the last like in the recent like 2 years or so.
For
Um
real.
yeah. Because that's not something you get taught about. You get taught about like for the Independence Day and 4th of July, and
Yeah.
everybody goes see the fireworks, the 4th of July. Um, but you don't hear about Juneteenth. You don't hear about a lot of stuff. Like the real history of America don't get taught. It's only like the biased perspective of the people that were writing the history. Like you were
White
saying,
people.
yeah,
And I have nothing against white people, but that's what our history has been like. It's been like written in the eyes and the thoughts of like the conquerors, like, and
yeah.
those were Caucasians. Like you can't.
There's no way to get around that. It's like it's literally
Yes, there's
it's just a
really
fact.
not. It's like
Um, and I got white people like white co-workers and stuff like that. Like it's
me
not
too. Yeah,
it's not
yeah,
even it's nothing completely nothing against them, but like it's just like we gotta acknowledge it. Like the least you have to do as a white person, I feel like that's what we at least want is acknowledgement. Like acknowledge that that's the real story. The real
yeah,
story is that we black people and people that look like just like us hundreds of years ago got looted out of their own country, brought over here, used as free labor to build what we know as America today, and we haven't gotten our like reparations or any kind of anything to kind of balance the scales when it comes to that whole setback that we suffered through for 400 plus years.
hmm
Nothing to like kind of retribute or like I said repair um our status that was inflicted upon us by the white oppressors. So
And
I
then
think
when we did try to do stuff like with Black Wall Street,
burned
they
it down.
fuck that shit. Yeah, so it's like I just feel like, man, that needs to really be acknowledged, like at the head. I feel like the
Yeah,
president, some president of some sort, has to acknowledge that. You
yeah,
know, our history here has been shit. Like, and that's crazy. Like that people argue with black people about the "Make America a Great Again" shit, like, or whatever the fuck the slogan is, "Make America Great
great
Again."
again.
Like
Yeah,
when it was never really great. I mean, it for us, for people of our color and our descent, it was never great. There was never a great time.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? We always were like fighting an uphill battle. It seemed like, even from like, okay, when we were fighting in Africa to not come here and we got defeated. You know what I'm saying? And we had to come here. And then even the slaves that committed suicide before even coming here. It was a lot of people that did that
yeah. It was like I ain't gonna.
from
I'm
and
gonna
then
live
from
free or I'm
civil
gonna die.
rights and all that. Yeah, man. Our history, like when you think about it, really in retrospect, it has been like crazy. Like you talk about trials and tribulations, like black
Right.
people know all about it. Like,
That's why black people love God so much is because like we had to go through so much that like the only thing that we could cling to, and it was like not even that we couldn't even really read like that. Um, it was religion and just like the only sense of hope that we could have like looking around, I'm picturing like back hundreds of years ago, during slavery time, a slave would probably look around and see all the like if one of their friends, on their plantation probably got like hung or just beat to death, And to see that is like, for one, I think to see stuff like that is unnatural. Like that's not the
Yeah,
like so and it's traumatizing. So the only like I think the only hope that they had was just like religion and God. So I think that's why black people are so like black churches and even our blues came out of that stuff. And but like black church in particular is just like we black people be joking about like how don't nobody love God like black people. Is because that's all we had for a
yeah,
long
that's that
time.
faith. Yeah, that faith.
So I'm looking up Juneteenth just like to give some little bit of facts about Juneteenth. So like I said, Juneteenth is the day that the last remaining enslaved African Americans in the Confederacy were free. It was June 19th, 1865, June 19th, 1865. Um, so yeah, I'm down with just celebrating, Juneteenth. And
That's Say's birthday. That's the day after my birthday.
oh yeah, yeah,
Hmm
yeah, I guess it is. Yeah.
I'm definitely turning up then. Let's do it. Juneteenth.
Yeah. And I got this Sugar Shack thing behind me because I'm just like nowadays in 2020, I'm feeling real black. I'm feeling real.
Me too, bro.
Yeah.
I've always felt like that. Like this shit. Like I've always been passionate about like Juneteenth. I've always been passionate about black people. I've always been passionate about the civil rights. Just us as like a people, like the Black Panthers. Like I mean, just like man, from a kid, like just because I've always felt like, and I now like my father has always called me a radical. Like I
Hmm.
think since I was a child, because I've always like had this strong, will or opinion about certain stuff, and like if something was wrong to me, or if I felt wrong about it, which was definitely like history of Black people and our treatment, I couldn't shake that. It wasn't something I was willing to, just deal with.
Yeah. And then I'm like, I think a lot of people are realizing that like, um, just in general, like the things are kind of in our like even as the people, it's somewhat we can take things into our matters into our own hands and change a lot of stuff. Like all this protest and stuff, like stuff is actually happening. Like it's kind of coming in like little, it's coming in little baby steps, of course,
Mm.
but little stuff is happening as far as like changing it. They're banning that the chokeholds and stuff in a lot of places now, and it's kind of getting rid of that situation being able to be to happen. um so like I think I'll say this on Facebook. I think a lot of like doctors, I think a lot of lawyers, I think a lot of what else did I say, doctors, lawyers, um etc. basically will be born out of 2020. I think all this stuff being like the focus for so like concentrated, like for the was like 6 months into the year now. So like 6 months straight, it's just been a
Mhm.
crazy like medical stuff and this like diseases and stuff like that. It has been police brutality everywhere. Like it's gonna make people like, what? As a kid, it's probably gonna make them want to be like, I'm gonna be a doctor because I see everybody getting sick. I'm gonna be a lawyer because I see all this corruption in our government, and I want to like make sure that I can defend people. I think 2020 is gonna birth a lot of those occupations because it's just like it's so much of a focus on the bad side of all those things, like all the
Yeah.
corruption in our police, all like the failed healthcare system and all that stuff. So I think a lot of kids are gonna grow up like saying, I want to be, or even police. I think they don't want to be police
They
officers
don't
because
want to, yeah, to correct that. And
yeah,
man, if that is the case, man, that really brings me a lot of joy. Like, because just to think that, like, okay, that's really what we need. We
yeah,
need the children or the youth are the future. So whatever we see them doing or we see them taking interest in is more than likely what they're gonna grow up doing or whatever.
mhm.
So that's why it's really important for parents, to be in their children's lives, and when they are in their lives, they need to make a positive impact. Um,
Yeah, yeah. Um, so yeah, I think, but like I said, I think with everything, 2020 starting off with coronavirus, I think it's almost inevitable that like people are just talking about it now. So it's like people are interested in it now, and I think that interest is going to spark a lot of people getting into it. But speaking of coronavirus, though, people, it's we've been
That
kind of
Rona.
distracted. Yeah, we've been distracted a little bit by all the police brutality protests and all the Black Lives Matter stuff. But lately, a lot of places have been reopening kind of quietly, and now we're starting to hear about different spikes of coronavirus spreading and all that kind of stuff. And and the crazy thing is that every time a new development happens with coronavirus, it's somebody to come out on, like, some of my friends or on social media or whatever, come out saying like, oh, it's not true, that there's no way for them to know that yet or whatever. But like, who are you? Like, how are you work for the CDC? Like
Right.
how do you know that it's not, it's they can't get their numbers until this day of the week? Like, who, nigga, like like like
Nigga.
this is the best. Like, I'm getting that, because I check my sources. Like, I try to check my sources every single time so that I'm not like just spreading some random fake news. But like, if our highest like expert on the topic is saying that, like, hey, it's looking like a spread, like a spike in Arizona, Florida, yada yada yada, and then they like ain't even no new numbers yet. Like, nigga, you don't have access to all the numbers they do. Probably that's probably what
Right.
the situation is. So anyway, but that's what's been going on though. Like the different states around the country have been opening up and now starting to see spikes. So I'm gonna pull up a video just to kind of like encompass that whole situation, and then we're gonna talk about it afterward. But I'm gonna get it pulled up. I probably got to add. Yep. Um, but yeah, so like, it looks like it's like mostly I see Texas. I know I heard about Florida, heard about Arizona, California. Some, I think, like, California area and stuff like that. Have been seeing that spike. So I'm about to share my screen right now. I was just kind of stalling, talking to till I can get to that point.
But yeah, bring it in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here we go.
But I knew
Grow.
this. I knew it was gonna happen, man. I knew the spikes were gonna come.
Yeah.
I felt like that was just inevitable because people just they can't sit still.
So here we go. We're gonna listen to this video and then we're gonna get into this topic. Oh, I gotta unmute it. Hold on.
You still be wearing your mask and shit out in public?
Yeah. So my job at the mall, we had to put a sign up because people was like coming in without masks and stuff, and we like require that to come into our store, you gotta have a mask on.
Okay.
So like the whole time I'm in there, I got my mask on, and I got that black mask. Yeah, because I'm not taking no chances. And like I said, if because like we had to tell a lot of people, like, you can't come in here without a mask, and they coming in, either they don't have one or they forgot it in the car. Like, if that's any indication of how prepared we are for a second wave, we in for a rude awakening.
Rude.
So I'm about to play this video though. Here we go. I'm gonna unmute it. Let's see. Here we go.
Alarming spikes of COVID-19 cases.
We're seeing right now is something obviously that's disturbing.
14 states seeing an uptick of more than 25%, all within the last week. This as states continue to ease restrictions, including California, where on Friday, gyms, museums, and hotels were allowed to open, even though cases climbed 5%. And there's growing concern in the southern part of the state, where early Friday, a COVID-19 outbreak forced evacuations at a nursing home. Meanwhile, other areas of the country slowing things down. This week, Nashville paused its plans to reopen further. Utah and Oregon taking similar steps.
This is essentially a statewide yellow light.
This, as the White House economic advisor insists.
There is no emergency. There is no second wave. We are not going to shut down the economy.
Larry Kudlow pointing to the number of confirmed cases across the whole of the country, an increase of around 1% in the last 24 hours.
If we have a stable number of cases or it's going up by 1%, that still means tens of thousands of cases a day. And we know that that translates into a unacceptable unacceptably high death rate.
Also Friday, new guidance from the CDC on how to stay safe. Host summer gatherings outdoors rather than inside. If you're eating out, call ahead to make sure the restaurant is social distancing and the staff are wearing masks. As the CDC offers up tips, public health officials are under fire for issuing shutdown orders. A review by Kaiser Health News and the Associated Press finds that across 13 states, at least 27 state and local health leaders have resigned, retired, or been fired since April. Some have even received death threats.
They don't have any ulterior motives here. Their sole intention is to keep people healthy.
So that, that it gave us pretty much a good synopsis on what we have, what's got going on. We have going on here lately. They're saying it's up like 5% since everything is reopening. It's like all the like stuff that was still like closed, restaurants and all that stuff is starting to reopen. And now we seeing spikes in like Arizona, Florida, and all kind of other stuff.
Yeah.
But then you got these mixed messages. I think the thing that's killing us is the mixed message that we present, like, or that they're presenting.
Yeah.
Because like you had the one dude saying like there's not a second wave. We're not gonna shut down the economy.
I was just thinking that like them niggas lying, and then even she was like, just this is just the red. This is a red light. This is like
a yellow light for the state. It's. I think you got to be like we owe it to our. I feel like it's almost like being complicit to like murder. Like if somebody dies because they heard you say ain't no second wave and they just took that to heart, like you deserve to be held responsible for that. I feel like that's the responsibility of media, is to make sure that the truth is getting out and just like not being first to the table with the information, but being accurate. What I'm saying, not just telling people what they want to hear, telling them what actually is true, and what's going to affect them. And so now we seeing spikes. And I told them at my job at the mall, like I give it like, and we talked about it last episode, like we were saying like around July, it's probably going to pick right back up because it's hot. People want to get out and do all the stuff that they used to doing. Because
they've been cooped up all year.
Right. Really, it's like it really is like a perfect storm. Like all the different components are leading people to want to be out and be together and gather. We already got protests.
Right.
So now they got protests and parties and kickbacks and all this stuff that people want to do during the summer. And it's like this ain't no normal summer. Like you can't act like this is normal. Like don't get caught lacking. And I think we're gonna get caught lacking come about July. Like you saw, I've been saying, like come July, I think yeah.
That's why I asked you were you wearing your mask, because Summer and I were talking about this like yesterday, and I think even the day before this, because we're starting to notice a trend that people are not wearing masks like anymore, and people are out because they open up some restaurants or whatnot by our house. So like we notice some people out there eating at the restaurant, no mask on. I'm noticing people in the stores with no masks, and I'm like, man, for me, this is a mask year, like all year. I don't care. Like I'm gonna probably get like 100 of them and just color coordinate and
yeah. I recommend the one I got. I don't feel like getting up to get it, but it's like the biker style mask. It got two little like vents right here. It's not the big vents, but it's like a smaller vent, and it's easy to breathe in. It's comfortable. It got like a Velcro strap in the back, so it's not just on your ears. So you can wear. I can wear it all day long, like literally, and I won't feel it on my ears. Like some of the other ones kind of pull on your ears to where like you get sore and stuff.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, I don't like them either. The one I got now is like I tie it.
Okay.
And that gives me get rid of that problem right there.
I'm actually about to get up and grab it right quick. Hold on.
Because that elastic is not what's up. Hey man, but y'all need to wear y'all masks. Like, don't just be out here unprotected because you feel like everything is opening up. and y'all feel secure,
So
man,
here it
don't
is
let
right
them
here.
people out here get y'all
So it
into
got,
getting that
hold on,
Rona.
put my headphones back on.
Don't let them do that. Don't let them fool y'all into getting Rona and getting sick and because y'all want to party.
Right. I mean, and then like they was doing, I mean, some of places I'm sure have been, I remember that Chicago house party I was talking about that one episode, like they was doing it while it was like in the height of like what we just got through. So this is the one I
Yeah.
got right here. That's how it looks in the front. It's got the little vents on each side.
Okay. That's
This is a
what,
little nose piece, and then on the inside is a filter. And the little, it's like a little pad right here, a foam padding right here, this little strip. And that keeps the air from coming up to your like glasses and stuff. But you put it on, and it's like a Velcro on the back right here, and then they go over the ear right here. So you got the over the ear, and you got behind the head, like attachment. And it's easy to breathe in. Like I'd be super comfortable with that all day long. But yeah, I'm not gonna let up on that part. I'm definitely not gonna stop wearing the mask.
yeah. Or
I'm
sanitize and shit.
Yeah. I think honestly it's not even, it's time to do the opposite. It's time to like start doing it more and being more precautious because other people are being less precautious.
Mhm.
And like I think we've had like a couple people get mad when we tell them in the store like, hey, you can't come in here without a mask, and they get mad. Like it's like people being so ignorant, man. Like
Yeah, so that's stupid. How can you get mad for one? Like this is my store, so whatever I say go if you want to
right,
shop here. Like I don't have to have your money. And then
right.
two, it's a fucking pandemic. Like yeah, they opening shit up, but that don't mean that things are better. And that's really like my problem with the whole system and the capital the you know what I'm saying, the capitalism of our capital, you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
it's just like they want to capitalize on everything, even if that means at our expense, like or anybody's health or anybody's life. It does not matter. Like our lives do not outweigh the need to make money, basically.
Yeah.
Like because that's what the dude was saying. He was saying we are not going to shut down our economy. Why not?
Yeah, like why are we even, I mean, I guess it's a part of me, I guess, get being concerned about your economy just in general, but like in light of a pandemic, why is money even like figure out we figuring it out. We sending out money and all that kind of stuff. Do whatever you got to do. Do whatever you got to do to
Right.
save the most people. I don't care about no money. I don't care about no businesses. Like it's on pause. Everything on pause. We got to make an
Hell yeah.
adjustment. We got to pivot. We got to actually adjust to what's actually going on. We can't look for business to be business as usual. We gotta actually adjust to this, because if we don't, it's like we if we try to stand in the way of this and put our foot down, we're gonna get washed over, man. It's not gonna go the way we want it to go just by doing the same thing that we was doing before this happened. We have to change some stuff. We gotta shut some stuff down. We gotta be okay with it because we know we're saving lives. You can't be mad that we looking out for people's lives. I
Right.
think they want to get back to business as usual. Let whoever get it. Let whoever die, and we'll just see how we end up at the end of it. I think that's what they want to do.
Yeah.
They want to get back to making that money. The US dollar already was trash as far as value.
Right.
And it's getting worse. Honestly, admittedly, with all the stimulus and they injecting the economy with money and stuff. But I mean, so what? That's what we got to do right now. Like we'll figure it out.
Right.
Whatever. Like I don't care about. Like I said, we say America. In my opinion, America was never great. To even be made great again, I think just make America great should be the slogan.
Yeah.
And
That should be end.
it should be MAG. It shouldn't be MAGA. But I don't think it was ever great. I think
That
that
probably would even better though.
I think we are. We were kind of reaping, perhaps this is just a theory, but we're reaping the benefits or reaping the wages of the past sins, basically. Like we stole this land, we killed people to get this status in the world. We like generations of people just get wiped out, basically genocide.
Yeah,
there's a chance that's catching up. You know what I'm saying? Like,
man,
it's
karma is inevitable. Like I feel like no matter who you are, no matter what you are, karma does it comes back because it's like the universal law. It's like you get what you give. Like whatever you are attracting or whatever you putting out, that's what you are reaping. I mean, you
yeah,
can't do nothing but that.
yeah, and like just the fact that we getting hit with everything. 2020 started, we got hit with pandemic, we got hit with murder hornets, we got hit with they had like a hurricane down south, and in like
Volcano,
Jersey and stuff like that. We got
hmm
what'd you say?
volcanoes.
Right, volcano. Everything is just getting set off at the same time. Like we getting jumped by the universe.
Man,
Um,
I asked my mama, I was like, "Do you think this is the end of the world for real?" Because I was just like, when I
yeah,
heard about the volcanoes and I heard about locusts and Rona, and I'm just like,
right.
can we
You
just
think
take a break?
right? Like you getting jumped by the universe. Like,
Yeah,
you got police brutality. Like, um, and the police brutality has been around the whole time, but like just to have it now, like it had been a minute since like a viral video of a police killing had happened,
yeah,
and then we got one right in the middle of a pandemic when everybody's supposed to be inside, and then everything went crazy because everybody has been inside for so long. Um, so like Minneapolis burnt down.
yeah.
LA they rioting, you know what I mean? Like all 50 states had protests cited. So like it was just like the whole America is like specifically getting tore up right now.
Tore
Like
up,
tore up. Um
tore up.
just like I said, like is I feel like like the Rona got on black forces. I feel like the I feel like
You said the Rona got on black forces and had to take a minute to register.
yeah, I think the Rona got on black forces. I feel like police brutality got on Tim's. Um,
Okay.
I feel like what the murder hornets was just like a subplot. Like it didn't even really like flesh out. Like it's never really even like came to fruition. Like they was acting like it was about to. Either it
You know
did
who else
or
got on black forces?
who?
DT.
DT. What's DT?
DT.
Oh wait, ET.
DT. Donald Trump.
Oh, he got on black forces.
Yeah.
He got on black forces and
He got on black forces.
New
On the
York
back of
fitted.
this is an American flag.
Right. Some Confederate flag or something.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, the universe I think is just jumping us right now. So, and then now we got a second wave. You got spikes happening again. People being ignorant and complacent, and ignorant is just like the most fitting word because they're ignoring what's like logic, like what's right in front of them being said to them even. So I don't know. I think I was already saying there's gonna be a second wave. It's only a matter of time, and now it's starting to like happen.
Yeah.
It's not even hard to predict that. It's as far as how people are acting
Right.
toward this whole thing, and it's like it's crazy that America, like it didn't even start nowhere near here, but we got hit crazy hard. And I think it was because of our attitude as a people. I think like this largely, like the majority of us, it's just like the same thing with the guns, like we was talking about. Like you ain't taking my guns. It's like you ain't telling me where to go or where I can't go or I can't work and I can't open my business. Like it's all that like brattiness that we got as Americans, and I think that's come back to bite us already. Over 100. I mean, let me just see. Since we're talking about Corona, we usually do this every week anyway, and go and look at the numbers. So let's just look at the numbers because I know it's well above 110,000 now. And they saying with the second wave that basically we easily are going to probably hit that 200,000. So it's going to double that very very soon. Given like the
Crazy.
current given the current trends and the fact that it's going back up. So I'm gonna share my screen again. Cause man, it's very this is more they talking about like we in the last days, like growing up in church.
Mm-hmm.
But this is the most like last days that it's ever felt in my life. Like it never really felt like last
Trying to,
days. when my when your mom or my mom or church people would say that, it would just be
But yeah,
like
it definitely
some
seemed like it.
yeah, like nowadays, yeah, it really feel like because it was almost like plagues, like different plagues.
Yeah, yeah. That's what I was saying when that locust, when I heard about locusts and I heard about volcanoes and I heard about, I'm just like, man, something is crazy about to happen. It's about to shake the
Somebody,
world.
somebody need to be writing all this. I mean, I'm sure they are, but somebody need to be writing all this stuff down, like logging all this stuff because this is gonna be like this is a historic time. This is like if there was a new Bible to be written, like this time, this is like Revelations. Like this is like
It is.
so but like the numbers I got them pulled up now. I'm gonna make this full screen. Um so for the numbers, it says that worldwide or US, we have 117,000 deaths. We hit 100,000 maybe like a week ago. So it's not going very slow as far as deaths. And these are just the ones that they can confirm. Like it may be more or less or whatever, or it might be more. But 117,000 people dead. And I think about that because like you think about there's 650,000 recovers, almost a million recovered. 2.2 or 2.12 million confirmed cases. It kind of seems small in like comparison, but we talking about 117,000 people. Like there's not many stadiums of like athletic events where they can hold 117,000 people. Like so imagine just bodies, that many bodies in like a stadium and it's like it's on the
Right.
field, it's on the court, ain't no more room. We got to put the bodies on the court. We got to put the bodies on the field. We got
Yeah.
we got them in the concession stands and in the because there's no room. Like that's how I think about that number. To like kind of to see it as what it actually is. I think just looking at numbers that represent human beings and lives, it can kind of take the emotion out of it and like the compassion out of it. Like I think if you think about it as real people, every single one of those numbers is a real person with a family. Then it looks a little different. That 117,000 look a little different. So
It
I don't
do.
know.
Yeah.
I don't know. What the next like month is gonna hold. But what a time to have a podcast. What a time. What a
Right.
time.
What a time to be creative. What a time to
Like all artistic like expression right now. Like this is the type of stuff that like inspires art. This is the type of
It
stuff
does.
that like, and it's like that. It's like for real inspiration. Like
Really.
through trauma and through like turmoil and through just like pain and grief and like I feel like unfortunately, a lot of our best things when it comes to like even music or this is like black culture in general, it came through a lot of pain. We became great through a lot of pain. Um,
Tragedy.
but I think anybody that's an artist now in any fashion, I feel like it's like almost a challenge to like, this is your time. You got to create something like speak to what we're going through right now. Speak to life as it is, circa 2020. Because, especially if you got something, if you have something that's like that's either like uplifting or just like this like stupid honest and transparent. I feel like that's the type of stuff that people need to see and hear and whatever the art form is. Because it's like it's gonna be depression is got, but it's probably I'm curious to see like depression numbers, statistics right now. Like I'm sure people are depressed, like they were in the house all day,
Yeah.
like can't work, can't get unemployment. You know what I'm saying? Like people being racist, like it got the audacity to still be racist while we going through a pandemic.
Right. Why
Um,
we going through all this shit?
so I think depression is probably at an all-time high. I don't know about all time, but like it's probably hit a nice little spike of its own, going along with all this stuff. So I hope that um we can make it out with as minimal as few, you know what I'm saying, like lives lost as possible. But I think it's just like I think some of that you know, how they say, like, you know, one rotten apple don't spoil the bunch. I think it's there's a ignorance, that rotten apple ignorance, that's in our culture, that I think is gonna spoil some of that bunch. So, but we're gonna move on. We don't want to dwell on that too much. A lot
No,
of things, like I said, 2020 week is like a 2019 month, like as far as how much stuff happens. But one other thing that has been in a lot of headlines, is this conversation, kind of started up by B Simone. B Simone she's like a comedian slash rapper, slash, she's like on Wild and Out and stuff. I think she has like a beauty line, but she recently, like, she made news for becoming a millionaire. She just recently became a millionaire. And I don't know who she reported that to for everybody to know that, but
right.
But that she was kind of, you know, being talked about because of that for a while, and then now she had an interview. I just recently saw the video. She had an interview where she was talking to Nick Cannon, and it was saying like the stuff about, you know, men that have 9-to-5 jobs. So I'm gonna just play the video before I even start to talk about it too much, but I'm pulling it up right now. Let me see, and then I'm gonna share this tab. But she started this discussion, and I think there's valid sides on both sides, but I'm seeing a lot of like differing opinions on either side. So I want to share this real quick, and then we can talk about this. Here we go.
What? You don't want to have an honest job?
I mean, he could be a hustling entrepreneur.
So you want him to be you want CEO status?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, it's buffering, I think.
Yeah, he can't
So
like, he can't clock in and clock out.
No.
Damn,
I
B
think
Simone.
entrepreneurs should date entrepreneurs.
Okay, but still, there's people who have really good jobs with vocational skills. If he's a mechanic,
I'm sure, but no, you're not going to understand my lifestyle. You're not going to understand why I'm up at 3 a.m.
Damn, you making this money for me. Okay, all right.
You know, he has to be an entrepreneur,
a business owner. He getting one of them stimulus packages from Donald Trump, one of them small business loans, and he ain't buying jewelry with it.
Or moving into that direction.
Yeah. All right.
Go around here and say what type of like all day. I want a fat ass, small waist. She gotta have her own. I like my light skin, dark skin, big titties. She gotta know how to cook all that or whatever. But y'all not jumping down their throats or whatever about their preference. At the end of the day, that's what the nigga like. Now, even if you don't fit that criteria, hey, you only getting offended. Criticize you on your preference. I just know that I'm not the one for you.
People that are getting offended are mostly people that aren't entrepreneurs, which is fine. You're taking it as a slug or somebody putting you down because that's how you feel. I never said anything about having a 9-to-5 is bad. I've had so many 9-to-5s. I understand that life. I understand you got to do what you got to do. And some people that have 9-to-5s just want to move up in the company. They don't want to own their own business.
I showed when I
get your hustle on.
All right. So that's basically it. It's a little bit more to that part of the video, but that's basically it. But we're gonna get into this 9-to-5 discussion. And you go ahead.
Stupid, bro. I mean, okay, like what she said there kind of made me feel better about what she said, but I still feel like she's stupid because that you can't base your connection off of what somebody does. As long as that person is able to provide, you know what I'm saying, and not want for anything and not have you wanting for anything, why does that person have to have the same aspirations, the same career, or, you know what I'm saying, the same goal for you? Like, you know what I'm saying, why can't, instead of having my own company, why can't I want to work up in somebody else's company and just run their company? You know what I'm saying? And then acquire my millions by some other means. Like, that don't mean that she talking about like you got to understand why I'm up at 3 something in the morning. That don't mean that because I don't have a 9-to-5 that I'm not up thinking about how I can progress myself or, you know, things like that. I just think that way of thinking is kind of is stupid. You know, it's immature. It's like juvenile. It's like, you know, you have to, in order to find the right person, you have to be willing to make compromises on certain things. And I think a 9 to 5 is like, you know, that's not, as long as he making money, and as long as he not asking you for money, then I feel like y'all straight, you know?
Yeah, I think I agree with that. Like, you shouldn't have to do the same thing, be in the same industry to establish like some kind of connection with somebody. It should be about way more than that, I feel like.
Right.
And I don't think there's any coincidence that she recently, I guess it was a profile. She got profiled in Forbes. That's how like the whole million, but she also tweeted something saying like, it took me 30 years to make my first million. It took me 30 days to make like the second or something like that. So she was like, you know, posting about it, you know, but that she got, you know, she got money now, basically. I don't think there's any coincidence that she is being worldwide or somewhat known now to be a millionaire. And now she's saying like, no, I can't date no 9 to 5 dude now. Like, because I watched the rest of that video earlier, and you know, she said like, I've had plenty of 9 to 5 jobs. You know, I got plenty of family. She said I'm the only she's the only entrepreneur in her family. So she's not like saying anything bad about 9 to 5s, but you kind of are. It's like a backhanded like way of saying it though. Like you saying like, I can't deal with, you know, this. They won't understand my lifestyle. Like just saying it like, you know, every single person, like it's hard
like
to
passive
understand.
aggressive,
Yeah, like as if it's hard to understand. Like, yeah, you're an entrepreneur. You do things for yourself. You don't have structure like a big corporation would. It's not that hard to understand. Yeah, you're gonna be up at 3 o'clock in the morning sending off packages or like, you know, putting together packages to send off merch and all that kind of stuff. I get that. That's not hard to understand. You don't have to be in that industry to understand that. That's
you
like
really don't.
That's very, very condescending to act as if you won't understand it.
Yeah, that's what, man. That's why I say she ignorant, bro. She immature.
And then I'm assuming that's one of her friends that's on that like FaceTime video, or Instagram, whatever it is, video. That's like kind of co-signing. But I'm just like, and then like most people have 9 to 5 jobs. A lot of people have 9 to 5 jobs that are very, very rich and very, very successful. Way richer
That's
than
what I'm
her.
saying.
Way
Yeah,
richer than
that's what I'm
her.
saying.
Been seen their first million. 9 to 5 though.
Right, 9 to 5, and though that's what I'm saying. Like you can't hate like, and that's the crazy thing. Like you can't hate on a person with a 9 to 5 because that description is so broad. Like, nigga, I could be doing anything working a 9 to 5. Like I said, I could be managing somebody's company, doing 9 to 5 shifts. Like what? Like, come on.
So yeah, I think that's like, it's dumb to act as if, for one, a person is their occupation, to say that, you know. And I personally, at one point I was working at Speedway, and that was like super depressing because like I knew I was doing that to myself. Like I shouldn't have been, but I was equating, or not equating, but like I'm like, I knew that I was way bigger than being in Speedway. So it was like super depressing to be there. I was kind of like comparing my somewhat, I guess, like I said, equating my occupation to my identity. So I battle with that, just being there, and I still do, like in some of the stuff I have to do now, just trying to get, you know, especially now a lot of people unemployed. But so to say that, I feel like you are equating somebody's identity with their occupation. And occupation comes, and we know, you know, occupation for Black people especially the opportunities don't come as frequently as for other people. That's yet another effect of, you know, the America's history. So you to say like, oh, 9 to 5 people, I can't really deal with y'all. You got to be somebody in my you know, lifestyle. To say that is like you talking about most of Black people, most of Black men, they, you know, that there's some business owners. And then she did say, to be fair to her, she did say, you know, or moving in that direction. So he don't necessarily have to be a millionaire or like CEO, like big CEO of $1 million company, but she's saying like moving in that direction. But I don't even think that needs to be necessary. Like I think that, I mean, it's her preference. Now I want to talk about this though. So I hate when people get into like but that's her. That's her life. She gonna do what she want to do. That's her life. I don't know why people get so bothered by other people doing other stuff. They gonna live like, of course they gonna. Nobody's saying that she's paying us or nothing like that. We looking for a handout from her. No, this is a conversation.
Right.
So just like that's the sidebar. But I think that to equate somebody's occupation with their identity, I think is condescending. I think, or to suggest that they wouldn't understand it is condescending. And to talk about to throw the baby out with the bathwater based on occupation when most people have 9-to-5 jobs, like the way that capitalism works, you got to have fewer businesses than consumers, or it wouldn't work.
Yeah, right.
So therefore, the majority of people are going to be those consumers, or those people that are not the CEOs. Those make up the 1%. To say that is like, as a preference, even as stating that as a preference, you could have kept that to yourself, but to say it out loud, you brought everybody into this discussion. So I don't want to hear nobody talking about that's her life, let her do it. I don't know why people get bothered about what other people do. She brought it up into the discussion. She knew Forbes was going to say something about her bank account, and she tweeted about it. So she put it out into the public as a celebrity somewhat. She's like I wouldn't say she's A-list. She's rich, but she's not A-list celebrity. A lot of people don't know who she is. But to another development of that story is that now she's being kind of like questioned about plagiarism, because one of her streams of income is a book that she has published. And I think it's at the time of the article that I have up here, I'm about to share. It had sold like 45,000 copies.
She plagiarizing?
But she's being accused of at least of plagiarizing, and there's some evidence. I'm not trying to get into no gossip type stuff, but it's definitely there's some like
facts is facts though.
Yeah. So there's I'm about to pull up the article right now. I was just looking at it just a minute ago, but she wrote a book. Crazy. Let me see. I can't remember what it's called.
The manifesting book. I know it's about manifesting.
Yeah. So it says Twitter has eye-opening, receipts. So like, look at this picture right here. If it'll pull up full screen, I think, or bigger. 50 on the left, it says 50 questions to find your best self, and it's like laid out like that. And then there's another book. It says 50 questions to find your best self, and it's like the same layout and everything like that, like worded exactly the same verbatim.
And that one of those is her book.
Yeah, I think one of hers is one of those. I don't know if left or right, but one of those. Do you see this right? You saw this right here, right?
Yeah, I saw that.
Okay. Yeah, left or right, I don't know. Which is which?
Right kind of look like maybe her book, because that one kind of look like a web article, the one on the left.
Yeah. So, but like the fact that they're identical is very like kind of weird.
Yeah, it's very weird.
And then this saying like this isn't her first controversy or whatever.
Man, don't be out here talking about some you can't date a nigga at 9 to 5 and you can't be original. Nah.
Right, and you out here stealing people's ideas and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, allegedly,
right? Allegedly. But for real though, man, that's the pot calling the kettle black, man. Like, well, you can't act like you too good and then just be subpar.
Yeah, so like, and it is her life. She gonna do what she gonna do. Her decisions don't affect me. Really not even in the slightest, but it's a concept. It's a topic that's being discussed by a lot of people. Therefore, people are thinking about their opinions and their stance about 9 to 5 people. Some girls is probably like, yeah, it's some girls got the audacity to have a 9 to 5 and say they don't want a man with a 9 to 5.
That's what I was just getting ready to say. It's already a mindset, I feel like. And you just hit the hammer on the nail on the motherfucking head when you said that, like, when you said that there are some women who have a 9 to 5 and have the audacity to say that they do not want a man with a 9 to 5. I was watching a radio interview the other day, and I don't know if the girl was a rapper or if she was a model, Instagram model. Yeah, I think that's what it was. But she was saying that she wouldn't date a dude with a 9 to 5, and I was like, what? Why not?
She was extra ignorant too. Like it was like it's like you got to get hit on block or something. You got to do something.
Yeah. Like what?
It's like, come on, man. Like, just because the way I earn my money, even if it's good money, just because I clock in and clock out, like to and that's just another like that's almost like it reminds me of like colorism and like classism and all that kind of stuff. It's just amongst our own people now. So it's like if you a black man, you already got it hard enough in America. You one of the most like hunted, like species, so to speak, of America.
Right.
And we saying no, you got to have you can't have no 9-to-5 job. You know how hard it is to run a business. Like how hard it is to like run a successful business. Most like startup businesses, new businesses die within a short amount of time. Like most of them don't work out. So like to say that you got to do that to have any kind of shot with me, nigga, forget you. Like,
right, like bitch,
I'm not
not
worried.
that good.
Yeah, like B Simone. I've always kind of felt like she just like the way she looked. I'm about to share this screen again, but like you ain't all that. Like, come on now, hold on. Like, don't get the big head because you got some money. Like that ain't everything. She's not a bad looking girl though, but like kind of regular looking. You know what I'm saying? Like
regular.
She's doing a little eyebrow thing, I guess. Okay, I mean, yeah. So like,
my thing is you'll miss out on something good trying to like have all these this criteria of what somebody has to meet or like these expectations. Like, sometimes you gotta say fuck the list and you have to basically just engulf yourself in that person. Like you gotta really be obsessed with them and see what makes them tick, and then see if that works with what you are. You know what I'm saying? Like that's how I feel like we find mates. Is you gotta find somebody who matches your chemistry. Like it is chemistry, really, really. Like and that does not like job does not determine that. Like or your profession. Like I feel like that's just, man, that's hella shallow. Like to think,
right?
Like even though that is her opinion and she's entitled to it, it is. But it's like I doubt that she would really find love clinging onto that.
Yeah, and like going back to the whole like the women that have 9-to-5 jobs that require that their man or their husband or whatever can't be no 9-to-5 nigga. I hate double standards. I hate hypocrisy. Like that's like for legit one of my probably my biggest pet peeve is like whenever you tell me not to, like it's not good when I do something, but it's cool when you do it. Like you being in the same boat that I'm in as far as 9-to-5 jobs, which is most people, so it's not even like uncommon. You being in the same boat that I'm in, but saying that me being in that boat, it makes me look worse than you. Like we doing the same thing. How can you judge me negatively for the same thing that you're doing? So I hate double standards. But yeah, so I mean, comment, you know what I'm saying? I probably post this as a clip or like a segment, but comment what y'all think about that. I know it's her life. I know she gonna do what she gonna do. She's grown, everybody's grown, ain't nobody paying me, she ain't paying us. We know that. You don't have to say that. We get that part. This is just discussion. This is just like, you know what I'm saying?
She couldn't afford me anyway.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, forget you, man. Like you cute, but you ain't that sexy. You know what I'm saying? Like, speaking of sexy, I just use that as a segue. Speaking of sexy, well, I don't know what day of the week it was, but we have finally been graced. I'm gonna just bring her down. We have finally been graced with the PS5 reveal. It finally showed what it looked like. I'm representing, you know what I'm saying, the PS5 hat.
For sure.
I gotta represent, you know what I'm saying. I just recently, over the last couple months, came back home to Sony. I had an Xbox One, you know what I'm saying, but I repented and I came back. I came back. I came back home
for my controller.
I came back home to Sony, and I'm so glad I did. They have now released the what the PS5 will look like, and they like the Xbox One or Xbox Series X, excuse me, had already been revealed like months ago. But Sony just the other day or so, a couple days ago, released what the PS5 will look like, and most people. of course, you got the both side, the fanboys on both sides. You got the Xbox people and the versus the PS or the Sony people. I'm even though I had an Xbox 360 and an Xbox One, I'm back on Sony, and I'm glad I did. I think I chose a perfect time to do it. And before we get too deep into it though, we're gonna play this video just so y'all can see it if y'all haven't seen it already. So I'm gonna share my screen and I'm gonna make it full screen so everybody can watch and see what Sony has what they coming with as far as design and everything. So here we go. I'm about to share it now. And I got it already kind of queued up to the right moment, but I'm gonna make it full screen. I'm gonna just make it bigger, and then I'm gonna make it full screen on the other one. So here we go.
Okay.
Hold on, I think it's there. It is. They came with that beat.
Yeah, I was say they try to make this shit sound all seductive and whatnot. They was like,
that boy clean though.
It is. I like that. I like how it sounds.
So I'm gonna just mute the video, but let it play. But you see how clean it is. It's very futuristic looking. I think it looks dope. Like people talking about it look like a Wi-Fi router. People gonna make whatever it looked like. Somebody was gonna make fun of it in some way. So,
right.
But I think it looks way better.
That's funny though. It do kind of look like a Wi-Fi router.
It do. Like I mean, especially from that straight on air, like that angle right there.
Yeah. It's I'm looking at and then you gotta look like that a little bit like that. Niggas is ignorant, bro. Niggas gonna find a way to make fun of anything. It don't matter. Like
so like they months ago they had revealed, or like about maybe a month or a couple months they revealed the controller. So you see that to the left. But then with this video they also released a bunch of other stuff. So you got I got it. Let me make it big here. So you got right there, that's the controller on the left. You got the standard, disc version of the console on the right of the controller. Next to that, you have the digital version of the PS5. So it's no disc drive in that one. You got the 3D audio headphones. They got this 3D audio technology that'll be implemented in the PS5 to kind of make it more immersive with the audio. You got a media remote. You got a dock charger for the PS5 DualSense controllers, and then the HD camera setup, kind of like I guess like the Kinect or like the old iToy or like the little cameras that they have on the PlayStation stuff. So they released a whole lineup of stuff, and yeah. So I think they got some heat. I think that is some. It looks definitely on the surface. It looks way better than the Xbox Series X. Like it's just like because. And I think anything would have, because it's just like they got a rectangle, they got a block.
That boy probably would look cold on black. I ain't gonna hold you. It looked nice though.
I'm gonna bring it up.
Like.
Speaking of, I'm gonna bring up the black version. I don't know if they are official.
But a black version of that would be fire.
I've been seeing the blacked out versions of the controller, and I've been seeing they had like a Miles Morales black with red lights version of the PS5. Let me see, black PS5 versions. Images.
Disconnected.
I don't know. I don't know where the pictures are, but they definitely. I think I shared them on Facebook. I'm gonna go to Facebook, but they definitely have. At least they're probably thinking about that, like thinking about how to do the black, because I think that's just like the go-to color for most systems. Like nobody really likes white systems or appliances most of the time.
Right.
Hold on, I shared it just the other day, so I know it should be right here. But yeah, they got some serious. I think they definitely got them on the design part. Got the Xbox people on the design part.
I say so too.
You can't even really argue with it. Like like I said, the Xbox is just too simple. Like it's just too this rectangular block to even compete. But I'm about to share right here. You see it? The black the black with the blue on the top, and then the black with the red Miles Morales one on the bottom. Let me see. All right, so my favorite, I probably had to say, would be, man, blue is my like. It's always been like my favorite color of stuff. But I like what the black and red, the Miles Morales one, like represent.
Yeah,
like,
me too.
So I almost want to go with the black and red Miles Morales version. But I'm assuming those are real. I don't know. Like they look real.
They better be.
I think there's no chance that they wouldn't make black versions of all of them. I think they just like we gonna reveal it with the white versions of everything. But I think everybody like has said that they wanted a black version. But so yeah, we're gonna talk about the PS5. So like I definitely plan on getting one. I don't know how much they didn't reveal the price yet, but they launching this year, I guess. Still like planning on launching this year, even with everything going on.
Which I mean, I don't know if that's a good idea. I mean, I do, but I don't. I just think nobody. I think it's not gonna do as great as it could be, as it could.
But I was also thinking about like how they because of like the stimulus payments and people getting like extra little money like that, they might just be, everybody just got it's got coming equipped with the money to buy them just from having the stimulus money if they didn't blow it already.
That's true.
But yeah, I think that's a summer sneezing.
Yeah, okay. Bless you, honey.
Bless
I wanted to tell her bless.
But yeah, I think I'm gonna play this in the background. But yeah, I think Sony's gonna outsell Xbox for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm glad I went back to Sony. I got like Sony got a lot of nice like exclusive games like
they do.
Horizon Zero Dawn is dope. They're coming out with a Horizon 2. The Last of Us is I'm sure is dope. I still want to play it. I haven't played it yet. Marvel Spider-Man, I think that's an exclusive. That's dope. They're coming out with the Miles Morales, of course. That's another thing that they revealed in their event. So I'm excited for it. I think it's gonna be like I think they were saying like this is the biggest leap forward in gaming since since gaming, like since forever.
Yeah.
They got the adaptive triggers, like the controller is gonna be crazy, like a little different than we used to. So like have you heard about the adaptive triggers?
No.
So on the triggers on the back of the control, top of the controller, they will be adaptive. So like based on what you're doing in the game, you'll get more or less resistance from the triggers.
That's tight.
So like you could be driving, like they usually use the driving game example of like if you're driving on like straight pavement, it'll like have a normal amount of resistance, and then if you go into like mud, it'll have a harder more resistance. So it's resisting you more when you're trying to press it down, which is crazy that they can even do that. And like developers are going to be able to use that to add to games, to add to the experience of playing a game.
Yeah, no, that's next level.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure Xbox got like a bunch of like new stuff that they doing. And now I've been seeing people post like the numbers, like the teraflop numbers and the all like the just like statistics and stuff, like to make it seem like the Xbox is going to be better. It's on paper the Xbox is more powerful, I think, like to some degree, but like on paper it is not all that matters basically. Like you got to balance power with speed, and I think like the Xbox is more powerful, but they said like I've been seeing people saying like the games are going to run smoother on PS5 because of the way that the architecture that they used. They got it more balanced. So yeah, I think and then those are the two what's the names, two systems, the digital edition and then the regular one. The
I
dual
wonder which one is going to be more expensive.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like I don't know. I feel like they usually end up being like, don't they usually like each year they've always been kind of like similarly priced?
I don't know.
Like the Xbox One versus like the PS 4. I can't remember how much they cost.
No. I was talking about The digital console
Oh,
and the one with the the drive.
you would think that it would. I mean, I think it's going to cost less. Like the digital version is going to cost less because there's just
Yeah,
like less components.
right. That's what I
Um,
would think myself too.
but yeah. So I'm excited for it. Like I said, I'm representing the PlayStation brand. I've always liked they are like aesthetic more than Xbox. But
Yeah,
but dang, it's crazy how like we go just as long when it's just two of us as we do when it's like six or like five.
right.
Um,
I was just looking at that.
but we got what like I think one. Well, let's just do one more segment. I'm gonna save the double agents thing for another episode. But
Okay.
the conspiracy. Um, let's just jump into our final segment. We're gonna do a game as we usually do. And this time around, we are gonna do two truths and a lie. Um, two truths and a lie is basically each person has to come up with three things. Two of those statements, three statements, two of those statements being true, and one of those statements being a lie. And then the other person has to figure out which one of those statements is the lie. So I don't know how you wanna go first. You want me to go first?
It don't matter. I can go first.
Okay,
Yeah,
I have you go first.
okay. Okay. It's two truths and a lie. Okay.
Mhm.
I absolutely hate corn. I'm afraid of clowns. Or I wanted to be president when I was younger.
Hated corn, afraid of clowns, and wanted to be the president as a kid.
Yeah. No,
Um,
like I'm afraid of what was it? I'm afraid of clowns.
and you hate corn?
And I hate corn, and I wanted to be president when I was a child.
Um, clowns. The fact that on episode 4 you had a Krusty the Clown shirt on, got me thinking that it's not the clown one. Corn versus the president. I'm gonna say the corn. I think the corn. Oh no! I think the clown thing is a lie.
That's your final answer?
Yep.
You are wrong, my friend. I am terrified of
Hey.
clowns. I do not. I mean, Krusty the Clown is different. Like I feel like we all grew up with that nigga, so like we kind of know what kind of clowns
Yeah.
he is. But
Yeah.
like, I think my fear of clowns came from watching it like when I was younger. Even though that movie was not scary, it's just like to a 7-year-old, that shit is kind of like
Yeah.
bizarre, especially when his mouth was opening up and he had all them teeth and shit. And he was,
Yeah.
but yeah, the lie was I wanted to be president. I never wanted to be president.
Okay. Yeah. I figured that one was a lie. Well, I guess. Dang, I played it wrong because like I thought that was like not gonna be the one. I think I was playing it backwards. I was playing like almost like two lies and the truth.
Okay,
In my mind.
That's
But
what I kind of. That's why I kind of tried to set it up as.
Yeah.
Like it was gonna be hard to pick between one.
I'm trying to. Okay, so let me. I've been kind of thinking about it like subconsciously what mine would be. But let me just kind of fully flesh out my thoughts, and then I'm gonna come up with one real quick. But
And then I do hate corn. I don't really like corn.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. For one, it has no nutritional value, and then like when you eat it, it come out the same way it go in. So it's like
Right.
it
It
don't
don't even get
digest. Like,
digest.
what's the point of corn? Like I eat popcorn though. I love popcorn, but that's about it.
I was telling somebody like I can't get over like just getting popcorn stuck in my teeth. Like I hate
Oh
that
yeah, I hate
part.
that.
So I don't really mess with popcorn like that. Like I go to the movies and it's like I don't go to concession stands at all just because it's the prices are like
Too
stupid.
expensive, yeah.
But even if they weren't, I probably wouldn't get popcorn just because like it the flavor of it is good and the smell of it is good and all that stuff. But just like that part of the experience of eating popcorn, I just can't. I don't really care for. I want to talk
I
about.
still might stand in line though just to see if we can see some freak shit happen, like when that popcorn popped around that face.
that was like the craziest thing.
That
Like
was so
I
bizarre.
legit didn't like if you hadn't seen it, I would have questioned whether that really happened.
Yeah, me too. If I hadn't seen it either, I would have been like, that didn't happen. Like, really? Like, but it was, it
Yeah.
was like,
Just to fill everybody in, was one time me and Vision was at the movies to see Jumanji, and we went to the concession stand. I think I know I was thirsty for sure, and we were standing there waiting on our stuff or waiting to order, and the popcorn maker over there, like, it shot a kernel of popcorn out, and it hit this lady that was on the other side of the counter, like on the other. It had multiple areas where you can order, and it hit this other lady that was ordering. And like it hit her. I think she like kind of looked at me, and I saw it, and I think she knew I saw it, and I was like laughing, but I'm like, did that really just happen? Like I've never seen that happen in my life. Like, it just like randomly shot out and just hit her. I didn't know that could happen. So I was like, I remember laughing so much that it took me a second to even order what I wanted because I was like still laughing at it. So that's what we're talking about.
yeah, it was just funny.
But okay, so I'm trying to do my 2 truths and a lie. So okay, 2 truths and a lie. I play 5 instruments. I had my first alcoholic drink when I was 24 years old. And I hold on, what did I say? I said, what's the first one I said? I said
you said you play 5 instruments.
Yeah. Okay.
You had your first alcoholic beverage when you were 24, and then
yeah. So I play 5 instruments. I had my first alcoholic beverage when I was 24 years old. And I didn't think these out very good.
Not either just the the detective in me. Just
I know it's working. I know the gears is going.
Just by the stalling of this last one, then this either could be the lie or the truth.
Yeah, I'm using that to my advantage too.
Huh?
I'm using that to my advantage too. I'm conscious of that effect.
Yeah, I figured you would.
But yeah, so 5 instruments. I had my first alcoholic drink when I was 24 years old, and my favorite cartoon growing up was Doug, the Doug Nickelodeon TV show.
So you said first drink
when I was 24.
I don't believe that.
Is that your final answer?
No, I'm saying as reserved as you are, I don't think that is the truth. But it may be though. But then Doug definitely does not strike me as like. But Doug was good though, but it don't strike me as being your favorite though. And then the 5 instruments is about the most believable. I can believe that one off rip. I don't really question that one.
Is that what you going with?
Hold on though. I'm I'm just going through it. I'm playing through it in my head. Because like I said, I've seen you play at least 3. So like 2 more beyond that, I wouldn't really doubt. And then okay, I'm gonna go with the drink. Go with the 24.
Final answer.
Drink. Final answer.
That is true. I did have my first alcoholic. No, I'm saying like the drink is true. Yeah, the drink thing is true. That story is true.
Was it Doug?
No, it was the 5 instruments. I only play like it's hard. I made it hard, but I play like 4 technically. I really only 3, but it's keyboard, guitar, and bass. The only 3 I really
see. That's why I say I've witnessed you play 3. So like to me, like it wouldn't be far fetched to believe that you would know how to play 2 more.
Yeah, I can play the drums a little bit, but like I don't consider that to be one of my ones. So that's why I say 3. But if
that's what I was thinking too. I was like thinking like drums and maybe like something else.
Yeah, Doug was like one of my favorites. Like if not my favorite, like 90s cartoon. Like for at the time, like now, like upon like reflecting about like all 90s nostalgia and stuff like that. Like I think about like Hey Arnold and Cousin Skeeter. That wasn't a cartoon, but those are some of my favorite shows. But Doug was one of my favorite ones. Like he was just like a I don't know. He was like the most normal, like this regular like cartoon character.
Hella regular. I
He
think
would
he
have
wore a
like the
sweater vest.
right, and then his little alter ego, Quail Man or whatever. Like
Right.
he would just tie
Wore
a
his
belt around his head.
yeah, and wear his underpants on the outside of his
Right,
shorts.
briefs.
Yeah.
Um,
Briefs.
so yeah, that was like definitely like. And then he had the Skeeter, his friend Skeeter, and Patty Mayonnaise,
Yeah.
Roger Klotz. Like they had a bunch of like dope characters, like memorable characters.
They
On that
did
show.
always go through some like real like deep lessons on Doug too though.
Yeah,
Like
it was.
as
I think
far
that's
as like,
why it came off as like the boring cartoon because it was like legit like stuff they was talking about.
yeah, okay. But Doug was cool though. Like I said, I didn't think that it was like your favorite, like as far as like all time. But I thought that I mean, because I like Doug though, especially
Yeah, one of the most like infectious, like memorable theme songs. Don't got no word.
I text that to the Doug fan page on Facebook, and they sent me pictures of like Patty with like hearts in her eyes as a response. So I
That's
was like,
hard.
that's crazy.
That's hard. Yeah, so that's two truths and a lie. I guess we're gonna end the episode there. I mean, we've gone for it probably be like maybe just a little bit less than but it probably be a little bit over 2 hours once it's edited down. But
like 2 in a couple minutes.
yeah. Thank you once again for tuning into the Stimulus Podcast. I don't think I said this before in this episode, but if you would like to donate financially, you can go to the $ the Stimulus Podcast, all one word, on Cash App and donate what you would like to donate. We appreciate anything that you can, and we appreciate everybody watching and everything like that. But you can donate financially if you're not apt to watching podcasts and listening to them. So definitely hit that up. Subscribe to us on YouTube, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and pretty much everywhere. I'm gonna start saying everywhere.
We everywhere you want to just look us up.
Right.
Just type in that's them simple words, some 3 simple words. The Stimulus Podcast.
And dang, we gotta do a thumbnail. What's the thumbnail gonna be for this one? I don't know.
That's a good idea. Okay, what we talked about? We talked about police brutality. We talked about 9 to 5's B Simone. We talked about
PS5.
Rona. Yeah, PS5. Oh, let's get where your controller.
I ain't got my controller, but I got my I got the hat. So I'm gonna just put the hat up have my head right up in the thing.
Yeah, we could do it like that though. Contribute to
that. Also be sure to put the all right, so let me see. Yeah, get the controller up in there. I'm gonna point at my hat. Let me see. Damn. Right, get that light. There it is. All right, that's thumbnail. That's all I need. Thank you once again for watching and listening to the Stimulus Podcast. We do appreciate all your support, whether it's financial or moral support.
Yes.
But this has been the 7th episode, and yeah, that's it.
Appreciate y'all, man.
Oh, before we completely end it, I'm gonna make sure we start doing this. Follow Vision Hunter at Vision the Great on Instagram, and you tell them wherever other places and stuff.
Oh yeah, okay. You can find me on Instagram at Vision the Great. You can find me on Facebook at Vision Hunter. Me and my wife also have a YouTube channel, which is Queenie and V. That's V with 2 E's. So yeah, just look us up. I mean, continuously trying to put out content,
Yeah. And for our what's the name
for podcast,
yeah, for our visual patrons, Queenie and V, like he said, they on YouTube. They got content on here. I watched the Smacks of Facts coronavirus edition and all that stuff. So follow them there. Follow us at the Stimulus Podcast, of course. And we just gonna keep on getting better and stuff with y'all support. So with that, that has been episode 7. We out. And end